Network, y'all.
It's Nisha's Network, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about connecting, yeah, let's go. It's Nisha's Network, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all about connecting, yeah, let's go.
Connect and feel the vibe. Connections make you feel alive. We do this every day. Let's put your business on display. Network, let's heal and pray. It's our love, we here to stay. Trust in God, he'll lead the way. We on right now, no need to wait. Let's go. It's Nisha's Network, yeah, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah, let's go.
Hey, everybody, we are back on this Wednesday. This is a Women's Wednesday. Okay, I'm just calling it that. But I know that all month we've been celebrating women in history through recovery. And I know that March is Women's History Month, but I thought we would put a spin on it since I've been working in the recovery space, is to say women in history through recovery and women who have been making a difference, not only in their community, but beyond. Global impact. And so I am grateful to have none other than the prestigious, I'm gonna call her prestigious because she is the queen of making stuff happen. And that is none other than Dr. Karen White. Hi, Dr. Karen.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So if you all are watching this right now, this is one you don't want to miss. Okay. You need to tap in, share, share, share. You can go to my Nisha's Network YouTube channel, or you can go to Facebook right now, but we will be sharing this information. We're going to have a candid conversation today because Dr. Karen is somebody you all should know. When I first came into the Recovery Oriented Systems of Care space, which is a grant funded program through IDHS in Illinois, for those who don't know, I said, that's somebody I need to connect with because she is the boss. I mean, when you speak, it exudes authority. Okay. Your posture says, yes, I know what's supposed to happen, and this is what's about to happen. If it's not happening, it's going to happen. And so I love that. Know that it comes with from probably some real hard labor pains. Okay. We're really just having to walk some journeys. So I want you just to introduce yourself briefly to whoever joins us today and the future listeners, and then we can go ahead and dive into conversation.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. I am Dr. Karen White, well, Reverend Dr. Karen White, and then we'll talk about how that extra title came upon my name. But I am a resident on the south side of Chicago, far south side, which this is where I've been all of my life, within my life of living other places. But this is where I primarily originated from. I have 2 children, 9 grandchildren. I work very diligently and hard to ensure that my children and grandchildren will have a better life. And that is how I ended up with all these titles. And I worked really hard because I looked out and said, somebody have to bite the bullet for the family and to ensure that the family would be okay. So I was the one who took the steps to go into a lot of education. And that was my way of maneuvering through the cocaine epidemic and the heroin epidemic. When things started to happen, I pushed my way through school and continued on because my mother was definitely a person of school, and she wanted that so much. And my brother, who had substance use and undiagnosed mental illness. This is how I even got into the field. I was basically a computer operator and a accounting. I like the background. I prefer to work in the background. If everybody know, I'd rather push people to the front. I say I'm a background singer all the time because I like to see people flourish. And so through watching these things and understanding that I don't even use the word enabler, I use the word that parents and family members just have unhealthy love. And so I look at that and I tell people my mother really loved her children, just myself and my brother. I mean, some real unhealthy love, you guys, because she was blinded by lack of resources and the lack of education. And then the way we were raised as back then, where everybody, we was the family, everybody was the village. However, the village didn't get outside the village to find the assistance. And so I saw what had happened. And through all this, and this is how I went into the substance use arena, trying to look for answers, watching the whole communities go down. And I am community driven. I'm community driven because one, addiction is addiction, and addiction only stops when a person has made a decision and a choice with assistance and aids. However, they can't get it if they don't have the resources to get it. So as I monitored and worked at Haymarket, was the first place I went to. I worked there for 4 years, and I had a lot of supervision. My mentor is Bakaya Madison. She's one of my heaviest mentors. And then I went to Gateway, where Jackie was also a mentor for me. And so these were people who led me and guided me, but these were institutions that allowed me to continue education. And that was why, and I based myself on how long I would stay there. And so I stayed at Gateway. Now, I worked because I had a reason. I was not working because I wanted to do this. I always, it was a goal, and I found out that they would pay for school for me. And so they would maneuver my schedules around so I could continue. And they would always put me in things because I was the one who would most likely do it. And I really got into Haymarket because I could run computers very well. My family had computer businesses when I was a child. And so they was flipping things over into the computers. And that's how I got in. So all I've ever done was clinical. And so I've never did any chem tech work. I went in as clinical because I could pass the test.
Wow.
So the goal was never to do it, right? So, and then I moved through with mentors that was continuously showing me paving ways for me and opening doors and jobs that said, we'll pay for this, we'll do that. And so I knew that I would only stay at Gateway for 10 years. I told them I would give them 10 years. And 9.5 years, I had completed, went all the way through school and did everything I needed to do. I received my doctorate. And at 9.5 years, I said, I just can't do this anymore. I'm getting close because I set goals for myself. So I was getting anxious. And then the dynamics was changing. It appeared people were being treated as commodities. So I just walked away. I walked away and I said, I'm done. I'm never working in this field again. But I had not surrendered to my calling. I was doing this, and my brother died in the midst of this. My mother passed, and I had started feeling certain things about, I couldn't really do anything for my brother and these type of things. So I was grieving and remorseful about this. I said, I'm just walking away. I don't want to do this anymore. It's too draining. And so I had said, okay. So I surrendered, and I said, Lord, what do you have for me? And I fell into what I'm in teach. And so I said, only way I run this, if I could run it effectively to assist the entire community and to get the resources and get the things done on this side of town that would allow the people over here to get better and to open up, because it's very hush hush over here. Everybody grass is green, new cars and everything, but we just don't know what's going on the insides. And then I fell into teach. And surrendered. And so my limited ability to remove my beliefs came about. And so through my walk, I was instructed through what I believe in and who I believe in, this God, that I needed to go and clean that up because I couldn't properly serve. And so I went back to school for that, to learn how to properly serve the people that he put in front of me, because I was going from one to when I got into it was to give my family reprieve, because there was so much going on. That's how I got in. I said, this boy is crazy. Somebody got to go find out what's going on. And then eventually it flipped over where God was saying, it's bigger than him. It's something else I have. So once I went in and got my belief systems intact and know that I do not have to compromise my beliefs. I just need to love everybody and serve and be the messenger and the servant. And so that was how I ended up becoming a reverend. Because when I went in, I said, I'm not even coming here for no degrees, because I am degreed up here. And how I got all this was they said, you have all the credits. Come on, we're going to give this to you. And then how I started to even minister was because our organization is inside the church. And Pastor Larry, I said, my ministry is teach. He said, if you did not want to do the ministry piece, you should not have went to school. So, of course, he threw me in front of the pulpit.
Oh wow.
So,
Oh, wow.
so I
Wow.
stepped
Wow.
in for him. He said, "You shouldn't have never went. You shouldn't have even got into it like that." And so he's another mentor, a very good mentor for me right now in my life. That he has been there for me at the hard times, the strong times. He's quiet, but he listens and he ensures that I'm okay and things is going good. He's
Now,
very,
who
very
did you
good
say
at
it
our
was?
program.
Who did you
Pastor
say it was?
Larry.
Pastor
Pastor,
Larry. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
very he's been a mentor and a strength for me for a while. And God to put people in place. And he's a man of few words, but he's very, very supportive.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Miss Terry, it's quite a few people. And so, your mentors switch and they grow. And that's pretty much on how, how I even got into this. And the ultimate goal is to retire. That's the ultimate goal.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you about Teach. Is it an acronym or what inspired the name?
It's transforming, educating, empowering children and humanities. And
Okay, I
it's
got to write
about
that.
because
You said
and see,
transforming. What else?
educating, trans,
Educating.
empowering children,
Empowering. Okay.
children, and humanity. Well, the thing
Okay.
about that is because one, we serve our population is mostly returning citizens, and we fell into that because we serve anyone who want to come through the door. It's recovery based and mental health, but I'm really about any person who want to make some changes. But we do serve the majority, 80% of our people is returning citizens, people in recovery, and people with mental health issues. However, when they seek an employment, and because we do have a training program in here also, when they seek an employment, they can put Teach on their resume, and it
Oh,
don't identify them as recovery, because I think your recovery
okay.
is your own personal business. So Teach has a lot of components. So we use it on their resumes as when they haven't done anything. So now we put it in as they come in, they doing job readiness, learning new skills. And so it allows us to branch it out a little bit more than just recovery based things for them.
Wow. 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 I didn't know that. Wow. So I know that you look, I'm learning so much. This is our official, you all. So for those of y'all don't know, and if you don't know what official is, it's none of your business. But anyway, so Dr. Karen, you have so many notches inside your belt. And a few of them are Recovery Community Organization, which is the RCO, the RSS, which is the support services, and then the systems of care, which is what we both have in common. And so I really want you to talk about the difference of all three. I before you do, I give a little history. I'm a hairstylist. Many people know me as Nisha the hairstylist, or Marriage Ministry, or Heart Life, okay, and or business coach, or Nisha's Network, whatever. But the bottom line, my biggest gift was the strength of being a hairstylist, and I take pride in. I just retired from behind the chair last year. So I say that to say, um, people, when I talk about the Ross, they're like, and what is it again? And what exactly is it that you do? And they hear me talking recovery, but because I've talked about recovery for years in different spaces, because there's so many, vast areas of recovery, that people just figure that's what you're doing. But it's like, this is a full-time thing for me. Like, I'm doing other things, but this is like the cream of the crop right now of really trying to get the message out for families, especially since we had our own demise of losing my nephew. And so I just say that it has become very passionate and very personal to me. But I wanted you to explain the difference between the RCO, the RSS, and the ROSC. Which the ROSC, I want you to start with that, because that's what we do, and together, and we have in common. And then we can talk about the other, all the R's.
And they all piggyback off of one another. They're interconnected. But what people fail to realize with the ROS, because it says recovery or an assistive care, they only want to lump it to people in recovery. It's not that. It's the community that's in recovery. It's not about just individuals. It's about us assisting the communities to recover from whatever, whatever
I
they may
love that.
look like. And so, because here in Chicago, is if anybody know, I'm inner city Chicago, and I love living in the inner city. My family, all my families live out in the suburbs. I don't like suburban living. It's too far out. It's too dark. I like the way the city lives because everything is so close proximity. So, but our biggest thing is crime. That's our highest piece here. And it's not all instilled from substance uses or mental illness. It's instilled from lack of work. It's instilled from a lot of people not knowing resources. It's a lot of things. And so now we're treating the community where they at. Where's that? We're dealing with the crime. We're dealing with now, and what that looks like, for example, ensuring that people have camera bells, holding trainings on how to protect yourself if you are carjacked. So that's recover. That's just to repair the community to reduce fear. So even with the substance use and mental health issues, that is very much incorporated. But we use the word recovery to recover the entire community because we're all in despair. We all need something. And so when that comes in, when people start to talk about how they may have family members that's struggling with substance use and or mental health. And so that's how all this encompassed with us, allowing us to now bring in Narcan because seniors with the medication, they may forget and these things like that. So it allows us to get in the door for them to discuss with us. We have family members that may need the services, even if it's childcare, whatever the need is. So the ROS is to assist the community with what their needs are. So I just look at, we're all in recovery from something.
We're all in recovery. Nobody's exempt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's what the ROS is all about.
Now, I just got through talking to Paula Ekstrom, and she's in Wilmington County, a very rural area, which they don't have a lot of things that I guess the city will provide in terms of transportation and different things like that. And since you said we're a community and the broader communities of like the Chicagoland area, which you tap into, what you said there's a need and the biggest thing is crime. What would you say to the rural areas like that seem, sometimes it's the stigma I was sharing with her. And then sometimes it's the not in my backyard, kind of thing. But then it's hearing her story. It's been many years because she's walked a journey in recovery. What do you say to the people that feel like it's not in their space? And
well, I work outside of Chicago. I work in Harvey, Dalton. Well, I just picked up Dalton, Robbins. Yeah, I work in different other communities. And so Dalton is the new one for us because I don't go in Dalton. I don't have a reason to go in Dalton, right? And so because we're also certified congregations, we are doing a recovery certification of churches. Getting them on board with this because that's who's missing at the table, and our LGBTQ group is missing at the table. So I was out there. They called me out to do some trainings and to get them certified. And everywhere we go, because our staff is always with me, we was observing the community, and I'm like, what is going on out here, right? Lot of boarded up houses. I mean, it's just it looks very highly privatized, right? And so I'm like, something is wrong. So why is this like this? And I tell them, community is what keep community up. If the community don't allow things, it won't happen because there is no better community. It's just what the people who reside in the community allow. So now I'm working with them to see what is going on that this is going on. Now, do we have a lot of, because they even talked to me about 2 houses where young people are living in, they're squatting. And because there's someone 21 in there, the children can stay there. Now, we know something wrong with that.
Oh, yes.
So now I'm working with them to see, now the new mayors is coming in. We need to get some meetings. We need to clean this up because you have the church, but you don't live here. I say, but if you can't, first we're going to clean up your block. And then we're going to move block to block. But they were blinded. I'm like, we got to get out and talk to the people because this has become their norm. Because I'm from the outside coming in. It's abnormal to me. Right. And I'm like, nobody see this but me. Right. So we're going in. I'm starting to work with them now. I'm setting up meetings with the aldermen and different people. I assist with making postcards for them to get stuff out. We're going to host some events out there so we can get stuff out, and then we're just going to just start working with legislative. And I'm also looking into assisting with trying to get some grants to put out there with them. So first you have to go through the legislative and the Senate, and you got to get the people on board because people weren't on board over here. And so
Right.
it's about getting one thing done. Just get one thing done, and you got buy-in because they think we're just coming in, right? So now we got to get one thing done. And one thing is just me to get one of those buildings unboarded on that block. One thing done.
So you're saying to take one task that could be a challenge
Yeah.
and fix that, and you think, I don't think you think, but that'll get people to buy into you helping their community. Now, did you go into that community and you were just like, I see this as a problem, or did you do some investigation with the people to say, what is the biggest problem?
I did some investigation because I saw it and I was like, huh. So we was going back and forth. I was talking to the pastors and different people. I'm like, what's going on out here? Do anyone see any issues? Tell me what's happening. Why is it like this? Why is there? Because I go across the track to another church that we're doing. It's just totally different over there. I'm like, what? It's called the Little Valley, they said. And it's over there about Argyle Gardens and stuff like that. I said, well, what's going on? And I was talking about the community that just has accepted this. And so if you're going to be in here, you want to make change, not just be in the church, but now the church is supposed to get out and make some type of changes, and we just can't ignore it, you know, that is going on. So I talked with them, and we're canvassing. Now we're canvassing to try to get people to know who we are, what we're doing. And then I will definitely do a survey to see what can we do. But I'm trying to first get with these mayors and aldermen to see what they're willing to fund and what they're willing to do. And so one, just put it on a radar. You got to put it on somebody's radar because trust me, they don't want to be on the radar, right?
Yes.
And then I come in saying, I work with the state of Illinois. You know, I work with some people, right? They
Yes.
don't want this.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
you know, being able to
Oh,
say,
it's
they don't
like-
want that.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be, they don't want that because now it's going to funnel up, right? Because now Dalton is on my roster, my renewal. Dalton is on my paperwork. This is what I'm about to look into over here. So they don't, you know, so now something has to happen.
So I love that. So this, and you go in representing the community, which is Rusk, but then tap into your RSS and the RCO. So I know that you're in the inner city, but how would that correlate to Dalton and Robbins and Harvey in terms of, does it all encapsulate, or is it, you know, you putting up RCOs in other areas?
Well, the goal is to put ROS in all areas because I'm assisting somebody else. And my goal is I assist people getting their ROS started. I don't care about all that, right? So the goal is to get some more ROS up, but the RSS is Recovery Support Services. And that goes along with the RCO, which means we provide services, employment training, coaching, spirituality, peer coaching, mentorship, employment, and then we have a training program. So that goes with services. Recovery support is services that we provide. And then we have recovery coaches, certified CPRSs. And so we have the different people in place to where we're assisting people with the resources. So I say we're a resource hub. So if we don't, we're linked to lots of people. So if we don't have it, we can get it out there. And so our RCO component with that is we're recovery community organization. Our goal is to get all the things on our side of town because people shouldn't have to come from this far over here and go all the way north to go get a mammogram. Because true. Now so we do have a mental health center that's been put into a little company, Mary. Christ has put in some things. So we have some things that's expanding out so we can have services on this side of town. That's how they all work together. And so we do the recovery support services. And that's for anybody. It's just called that because people come in and then they get therapy. I'm here. And so we just, the goal of the recovery support is to heal the person. That's and the family, whoever need to come in, and we try to assist them with whatever they may need, housing, food, treatment, whatever. So we link with treatment centers so we can call us. I need them in right now. We don't have to do the waiting list. We link with recovery home.
I wanted to ask you this because and wow, the time has gone by so fast, but I want to ask you this. So one of the things that I've tried to explain, and maybe I'm not explaining it well, is the recovery community organizations and the recovery community support services. So say for instance, the RCO is called RCO, but we know that there's Pacific Garden Mission downtown Chicago, right? We know that there's Restoration Ministries. We know that there's
Mhm.
Teach Foundation. We know that there are these spaces. So, with as being a ROS with the community, my question to you is there are other RCOs beside Teach Foundation. They're just not called RCOs. Would you agree with that? Or can you just explain that a little bit, because I think that there's been a misconception which I've experienced of you need to work with this RCO. I'm like, there are several RCOs, they're just not called RCOs or identified as RCOs.
Well, we identified as an RCO because we are under the Faces and Voices. That should go through a credentialing piece. So we're credentialed RCO. And we have your RCO if you're RCO, your ROS if you're ROS. You're doing the same thing. They just haven't went through the credentialing. That's all. That's the only difference.
So the credentialing is what is the missing component. And
Yes.
so do you recommend that people go through the credentialing?
I do recommend that people go through the credentialing because of a lot, honestly, grant reasons. They want you to either be affiliated with an RCO or work with one. Now, Pacific Garden Mission is affiliated with us. We are partnered with them. The Restoration Ministry, we're partnered with them. So you don't have to be one. You could just partner with somebody. So they are our partners. And they, Pacific is all the way down there, but they are. So a lot of people partner with us because they need that partnership. And it's because they don't want to do the credentialing piece. So it's all about just partnering with somebody with it on their name.
Which is really what the ROSC is all about, is gathering partners and people to work. Wow, you're doing a lot of work. And like I said, I teach marriage, I say be a student of your spouse, but you need to be a student of your leadership, okay? And your mentorship. I want to say thank you for empowering communities, and thank you for empowering education and advocacy for recovery spaces, but also just making the impact that you are and being the voice. I just celebrate you as a woman in history who is making changes in the world. I'm meeting with several people. Some are not as excited to speak to certain pieces of recovery, but I yet celebrate them because of the fact that they're still doing it. They're still doing it even sometimes when they don't want a voice. So, wait, in your last words of this conversation, first of all, let me put the website up there because I want you all to know, if you want to follow Reverend Dr. Karen White with the Teach Foundation, you can go to teachfoundation1.org. That's Teach Foundation, TEECH, foundation.1.org. But I want you to just talk about, don't look back. You're not going that way. Come on, somebody. That's a word in itself. And I that's one of your slogan, your phrases. I would love for you to expound on that.
And don't look back. You're not going that way. And that's for every human on this earth, because looking backwards has kept us from going forward. And we're going through turmoils right now in our lives, but always remember, today and tomorrow is a whole totally different day. Don't allow your yesterday to be your today. If you just don't look back, you'll be okay. And I'm preaching that to people daily, because people is just really struggling right now. Hold on to your faith and know that things going to get better. It can't change is good. It can't do anything but get better. So don't look back. Just keep moving.
Don't get back. You're not going that way. Come on, look forward. Well, I thank you for sharing today. And if you all want, again, to reach out to Dr. Karen, please reach out by teachfoundation1.org. You can follow her and get involved in what she's doing with the Teach Foundation. And she's providing so many services, and building a legacy for the future. Thank you so much for all you do. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. And if you want to follow us, please do. We will be talking more women in history in the month of March, celebrating women in recovery. Thank you so much, Dr. Karen.
Thank you for having me on.
Hang tight for a moment.
Have a good day.
All right. Hold on. Blessings to you all today.
connect and vibe.